Right, moving on then. Our third performer, her favourite subjects are maths, art, drama, very interested in travelling and loves the theatre, not interested at all in French classes, not, sacre bleu, very proud vegetarian, and in the future would like to be an actor or a mathematician. Maybe you could be an acting mathematician. She is from the Dean Magnus School. You're winning so far. That was good. Good volume. Please go wild, all of you, for Evie Llewellyn.
Okay, I'm going to ask you all to close your eyes. And do not open them until I say so. Now, I want you to imagine a word. Any word. Next, I want you to muddle up the letters of that word and put it in a completely different order. Now open your eyes. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm telling you to do something like that. Well, what if I told you that is a rough simulation of what a dyslexic person would see when they read? And that's what I'm going to talk about today, dyslexia. So, what is dyslexia? Well, it's a term to describe a difficulty to interpret words, letters, symbols, numbers, and the list goes on, but it does not affect general intelligence. But surprisingly, 10% of the UK is affected by dyslexia. That is an absolute humongous number, and I am a part of that 10%. But a fun fact is, a dyslexic brain is bigger and typically more creative than the average brain. But leads us on to what actually causes dyslexia. Well, before we talk about that, we need to talk about the brain basics. So there's three main parts of the brain: the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and the brainstem. But we're not going to talk about the brainstem and the cerebellum, as they're not very important to language and reading. We're going to concentrate on the cerebrum. So the cerebrum is a part of the brain that's divided into two parts: the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere, which are further divided into four lobes: the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the occipital lobe, and the temporal lobe. So now we talk about the brain basics, we can talk about what actually causes dyslexia. Well, latest science shows that dyslexic brains process words completely different to non-dyslexic brains. As a non-dyslexic brain uses areas towards the back of the left hemisphere to process their words, as they can process their words at lightning speed that is extremely fast. However, a dyslexic brain uses areas towards the front of the cerebrum to process their words, which is less efficient. But later on, dyslexics try to tap into the right hemisphere of the brain to compensate these reading skills. But this is less effective, and there's so much brain power for less results. So that is what causes dyslexia. So, in closing my speech, how does dyslexia affect daily life? Well, it can affect daily life all the way from reading restaurant menus, all the way to exams, and people can really struggle in school and jobs. And some people with dyslexia feel trapped, feel like they cannot achieve something beyond words, but that is far from the truth. For instance, Albert Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci, Walt Disney, I don't know, Steven Spielberg had to have dyslexia and still achieve something great. So that, my friends, is what dyslexia is.
That was fantastic, and I also have dyslexia, so welcome to the club. So, from the research that you did, what do you think had the biggest impact to you?
I think finding out that 10% of the UK is affected by dyslexia, because I never realised how big of a number and how many people are affected by it. So that was really surprising, and it was weird to know that so many people, even in our schools, have dyslexia.
Me too, actually. Yeah, lots of them everywhere. When you've done your research, did you find it easy or difficult to find just 3 minutes of content? Did you find it was difficult to pick what bits you wanted to say?
Yeah, I feel like it was difficult because there's so many parts of dyslexia that you could talk about. Like, there are just so many things that contribute to it that it's just really hard to pick one, but after a while I got there, like trying to narrow down what to get to, but yeah, it was difficult to start.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Great job. Huge round of applause, please. For Evie.